Greetings all, this is Precious, the new Jamaican, and welcome to my channel. Now, as I said to you in my first video, this channel is about our transition from living full-time in America to living full-time in Jamaica. If you've not watched that video, please go back and do so. I give an introduction to the channel and tell you a little bit about myself. But before we move on, I want you to remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share. In this video, we will be discussing the first steps needed in moving to Jamaica. So, let's talk Jamaican business. If you are planning to move to Jamaica, conduct business in Jamaica, or purchase property in Jamaica, there are certain things that you will need and certain steps that you must take beforehand. Now, before we actually tackle major events like purchasing property, let's talk about the one thing you would need before you can do anything like that, and that is getting a tax registration number, or TRN. As an aside, I should mention that Jamaica is implementing a national identification number system, but that has not happened yet, so we will not talk about that in this video. A TRN is very similar to a Social Security number that we have here in the US, though not exactly the same thing. You do not need to be a Jamaican citizen in order to obtain a TRN. I know you do not have to be a US citizen in order to get a Social Security number, but that is a different topic. You will, however, need a TRN if you plan on conducting any commercial and personal business in Jamaica, i.e. purchasing property, as I mentioned before, opening up a Jamaican bank account, registering for school, dealing with other government agencies, and I even needed my TRN to get a cell phone number. There is no fee to obtain a TRN, and if your status changes, i.e. you change your name or something, you will need to notify the appropriate government entities. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Lastly, your TRN is forever linked to you, like a Social Security number, so it would be a good idea if you would try and memorize it. And though it is a very important document, getting a TRN is fairly simple. Now, I first learned of a tax registration number when my husband and I were purchasing land. In order for my name to be on the property title, I had to have a TRN of my own. I applied for my TRN while living here in Chicago by going to the Tax Administration Jamaica site, TAJ. The TAJ site has a wealth of information on all things Jamaica revenue related, including property tax, motor vehicle, driver's license, as well as the topic of this video. Now, the TAJ site, of course, is going to go into much more detail and explanations about TRNs and anything else that will be covered in this video. So I encourage you to check it out when you can. I have put a link to the TAJ site in the description below. After locating the TRN application on the site, it was just a matter of filling it out. Now, each application will require accompanying documentation to prove you are who you say you are. For me, I use my US passport as my accompanying documentation. Now, there is an option to use a driver's license, a birth certificate, a couple of other forms of ID. But please note that if documents other than a passport or a Jamaican driver's license is being used, there are other necessary requirements which is noted on the application. So you want to read that section carefully. Also of important note, all accompanying documentation must be certified. Now, how do you get a certified copy of your passport? It's simple. You make a copy of your passport, preferably in color, have it notarized by a notary. Voila, it's certified. Now, if you're living in Jamaica, the requirements, of course, are somewhat different. You get a JP to certify. But this video is for non-Jamaicans and those who do not live on the island. So, moving right along. Now, the application and supporting documents needed to be submitted in duplicate. At least they needed to be submitted in duplicate when I applied. To be honest, when I did my research for this video, I did not see that noted anywhere on the site, but I always say it is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You can also just call the TAJ office and verify exactly what they need and how they need it. Now, there is a section on the application that asks your preferred method of communication, be it by phone, text, fax, email, or post. Now, since I was in a rush to get my TRN, I chose email, hoping that that would speed things up a bit. Now, also, the TAJ website says that they will mail your TRN card to you at the address listed on your application, but I prefer to pick mine up at a local tax administration office, as I knew I would be traveling back and forth, and it just made sense to me. The application also lists all of the TAJ offices on the island, so you can choose the office that works best for your situation, or you can just have them mail it to you and see if that works out in your best interest as well. Since I was time pressed to obtain my number, I shipped my application via Federal Express. Now, as a side note, when shipping items, even documents overseas, a commercial invoice must be included, and your courier, FedEx, or whomever you use will assist you with that. It was just under $60 to ship my application from Chicago to Jamaica. Now, mind you, this was a couple of years back, so the price may have changed depending on where you're shipping from, Florida, New York, or wherever. The price could be significantly different. So, of course, we can just mail it. Would not have to deal with that extra cost. I shipped my application on November 26, 2018. Oh, yeah. This was also my first time putting a date on Jamaican documents. The date format that America typically uses is month, day, year, while Jamaica typically uses day, month, year. Now, to avoid any confusion, I did use the day, month, year format, but made it a point to spell out the month so as not to confuse anyone, mainly myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that a date of 11/26/2018 would not confuse anyone. I mean, no one is going to wonder, what month is 26? But depending on the date, there could be some confusion. For example, when I was getting a Jamaican bank account and I needed to show my U.S. driver's license, the banker thought my license had expired because I believe we were in the month of May. And my license said 11/03 on the year, which she interpreted as March 11th, when in fact it's November the 3rd. So Americans, keep that date format thing in mind because Jamaicans are used to looking at dates differently than we are. So just spell out the month to make things easy. We will talk about in another video how I got a Jamaican bank account without actually having a TRN. So back to the video. It arrived at the TAJ office the very next day, to my utter surprise. By November 30th, I received an email informing me of my new TRN number. Yay! Oh my God, I could not believe it. That was beyond what I anticipated, and I was very, very, very pleased with that. Now, receiving the card, that took a little longer. Each time I would visit the island, I would check the TAJ office that I asked them to send my card to check if it was there. On one visit to the TAJ office in May of 2019, I received a letter instead of a card. And I was just told to keep that letter with me at all times. I actually received my TRN card in November of 2019. So, all told, it took approximately a year for me to receive the actual card, but just a few days for me to receive the number. And that was okay. I mean, all I really needed was the number. I mean, think about it. How often do you need your social security card with you? I mean, you don't. So it worked out. A few days for the number, quite a few months for the actual card. So I encourage you to get your TRN card ahead of time before you start trying to conduct any business. Also, you have to keep in mind with COVID, like America, a lot of Jamaican offices are working remotely, so the process could take a lot longer. So you don't want to be in a push to get it, not knowing exactly how long it's going to take. But go ahead and work on this one. So, as a recap, there are 5 steps to get your TRN number. 1, go to the TAJ site and get the application. 2, complete the application. 3, gather your accompanying documentation and get them certified. 4, mail or ship your application in duplicate. And 5, wait. These are the 5 steps to get you started in conducting business in Jamaica. So go on out there, get your TRN card. Well, that's going to do it for today. I hope this video was informative without being too overwhelming. If you enjoyed it, would like to see more content like this, if you have additional questions, please let me know in the comments section below. Again, remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Until next time, stay conscious, stay connected. Peace.